In 2009, banker Shaurya Doval returned to India with an aim to give something back to the society. He set up a think tank, India Foundation, whose main aim was to articulate nationalistic perspective on key policy issues and also understand India's civilizational influence on our contemporary society. In past 9 years of Modi government, India Foundation has emerged as a key think tank to promote Indic thought on cultural, strategic, and economic issues. We spoke to Shaurya for our Independence Day special issue on democracy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is the mother of democracy. India is welcoming world leaders for the G20 summit using the same tagline. Why is this significant?
This is a very important term because India is the world's largest democracy. You do not find anywhere in the world 1.3 billion people or 1.4 billion people now living and working together as a democratic nation. There are democracies in the world. There are oldest democracies, there are newer democracies, but most of them are very small. So for democracy to have achieved success in a large population of size of India, the only comparable population is that of China, which is not a democracy. I think that is what makes India the mother of democracy and a very unique human experiment. Because you must understand that democracies at a certain per capita income, democracy with a certain level of education, democracy with a certain homogeneity of people is still possible. But democracy as in a nation which is so big, virtually a subcontinent, also a nation which is so varied and wide with such different languages, cultures, ethnicity, religion, all these people being able to work together and operating together and peacefully churning out government after government every 5 years, or actually literally every year, whether it's state or central level, shows you that what the power of humans working together. And I think India, that way, is a classic living example of what democracy is. And that's why I think it is appropriate that we should refer to India as a mother of democracy.
Mother of democracy also harks back to India's cultural history and democratic tradition in the country's ancient past. Is it relevant today?
You see, India is a very old nation. India is a new state. India as a state only came in 1947. But India as a civilizational nation has existed for thousands of years. India is going to take a global world stage and becoming a global leader in the years to come. If India is to give global leadership, India must draw on its cumulative experience of thousands of years to bring to the world ideas and methods of living that are needed to solve some of the world's biggest problems and also tap on some of its greatest opportunities. Therefore, it will be very myopic of India to only use its 75 years of experience and ignore the thousands of years of experience as it comes to bear upon the global stage. You see, India's economic, military, technological rise has put India on the high table. India is already a G20 country, is virtually a G7 country. Whatever India says is going to be listened by the world. Whatever India does is going to have an impact on the world, whether from climate change to its military maneuvers, is going to ensure that the world can no longer ignore India. World has to listen to India. So the question is that as India comes onto that global stage, does India have anything new to say? Does India have anything new to add to the world? And I think that thousands of years of India's wisdom that had got in some ways, overshadowed or subdued under the years of colonization and got lost to the world because India did suffer 1,000 years of colonization. I think those have lessons to the world that the world can greatly benefit from. I'll give you one simple example. We say Vasamba Kutumbakam. The world is one family. You've heard this statement. This is a profound statement in the world of tomorrow, where the world is full of big countries loaded with nuclear weapons that can annihilate each other. and the world in one shot. If the world is to survive, we have to treat each other as one family. We have to treat every aspect of the world, from climate change to, as I said, the nuclear weapon race, as one family. In a family, you can have conflicts, you can have differences, but you can't let conflicts escalate to some extent that you end up killing each other. Because if you kill each other, where is the family? So when you talk about Usamba Kutumbakam and the concept of one family where nations exist, I think it's a very, very powerful concept which only India gives and no other nation gives to the world as a whole.
Critics talk about democracy being on the decline in India.
No, I think there's a very shallow statement to make that democracy in India is on a decline. Democracy in India is live and robust. It is growing every day. And the power of democracy is that once you unleash it, as you can see in other countries, it's very difficult to put it back. India has now got 75 years of democracy that has been working, and that has ensured that, we change peacefully governments with different ideologies, with different philosophies, so peacefully one after the other, both from the central down to our state to our panchayat levels. So when people say, oh, democracy is at a threat, I think they're being very reactive and they're just commenting upon the events of the day. They don't have a deep understanding that democracy in India is very robust and live, and actually, as I said, is growing, because every year generations born into the freedom that the Indian Constitution gives every Indian citizen ensure that democracy will remain alive and very difficult to remove, because the people have got so used to it. If you were 30 crore people at the time of independence, we are 130 crore people today, 140 crore people. It's very, very difficult to take back from them the rights and liberties that you have given to them. And therefore, I do completely disagree with this statement that democracy is on the way.
A part of your work is to promote Indic thought and India's cultural tradition through your think tank. How far have you been successful?
I think definitely, I think we as a country are succeeding, and obviously my think tank plays a small part in that. But if you look around the country today, in the last 9 years, there is a huge amount of cultural revivalism that I would call. As I said, what I was saying earlier, the ability to draw on India's cumulative wisdom in shaping India's outlook and the world's outlook in the years to contemporary in the years to come, whether it is yoga, whether it is Ayurveda, whether it is promotion of Indian languages, whether it is greater cultural homogeneity of India's culture, arts, sciences, all of them actually are going back and saying that, wisdom or knowledge did not emanate with the arrival of the British in this country. Right? We actually knew answers to some of the biggest questions in the world thousands of years before mankind had found them. And I think we are, and I think that Indic thought is what my think tank tends to promote, which is to say, look at India uniquely from India's perspective, right? And I think to that extent, I think we are being able to contribute in the larger narrative in the country.